guys, welcome back. Drip Coach here with Drip and Farm for Poverty, where we don't trust, we verify and operate with integrity and transparency. So in today's video, I'm showing you the new Degen Yolo Portfolio I created to try to capitalize on the next, we'll call it 3 to 6 months in this bull run. So stay tuned.
Watching Bitcoin climb higher feels like watching a train leave without you, but it's not too late. At Drip2 BTC, you can grow your Bitcoin like never before. Earn up to 3,000% APR on credit conversions and discounts on Bitcoin purchases. Step 1, buy Bitcoin. Step 2, deposit it. Step 3, let your wallet do the work. Don't miss this chance to change your life. Start today at drip2btc.com.
All right, so this comes off the heels of the video I made, should have been yesterday if this comes out correctly, that was based off of Virtual Bacon's thesis. And in his video, he came up with these criteria for what causes that crypto money flow, or a cycle chart that I showed you guys last time. So what this really meant to me is that I had to change my outlook and remember what it was like when I first got in at the hype of the last bull run. So everybody goes through the same learning journey with anything you get introduced to. You have to do your research, educate yourself on it. First, you hear about it, it's the awareness. Then you research about it, then you put your toe in, you do something, whatever. Point is that what we have been doing, if you've been here as long as me, following my channel and interacting in the dApps from last year, is what we're doing is very different than what your normal retail investor that got in last cycle and forgot about it, or they're newly being onboarded due to the Bitcoin narrative and all the hype coming in. They will not be going into DEXs and worrying about MetaMask and Ravi Wallet and trying to bridge over to different chains. Some of them will, yes, because that's eventually how I made my way down too, but that wasn't step one. Step one was, how do I get into any of these cryptos? Oh, Coinbase, cool, I already have an account. Let me go on there, and literally the first things on the page, whatever's trending, that's what you start looking at. And Coinbase was also giving away tokens based off of like watching some videos and answering some questions. They were giving you fractions of tokens, and some of those actually I remember, and they actually showed up in this portfolio that I'm going to be doing now. So the reason I bring this up is that you have to kind of disconnect or reset your mental framework for how to take advantage of this bull run and this crypto opportunity that we have. So this was his criteria. And based off of that, I created my own. Well, first we're gonna look at his. So down here, as he goes through all this stuff, he gives you all of his details and why he picked them and all this stuff like that. And I just went ahead and copied all of that into a portfolio here. So he's looking at different categories. Let's zoom in here again. Oh, let's forget to do that. He's looking at different categories and trying to leverage the potential of the different narratives in the category. So like layer ones, AI and gaming were his big thought process for why he picked them. And he gave, these are all his. So this is all the stuff he gave and his reasoning behind it, things of that nature, and his rationale. And again, like I mentioned, he's someone who's made multi-million dollars. There's a lot of investing. So as I mentioned in other videos, replicate before you iterate. So I didn't copy exactly his portfolio, but definitely like 80%. But I used his thought process of how people enter the space, and it triggered me to remind myself of how I got introduced to all this as well. And that's what made me create my list. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, you have this cool feature over here on Live Coin Watch that shows you the percent to all-time high from where it is at now. And CoinMarketCap does not do that very well. This just, I don't even actually know what these numbers represent. Like, I don't get that. So it's definitely better to look at it from here. And again, as I mentioned you before on another video, these all tie together. This one here, the ultimate crypto strategy. This is the one that had the two fundamental, we're going to call them laws, but they're not actually laws, right? They're theories of kind of ratios in the universe. You have Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, and then you had Price's law, talking about exponential growth, things of that nature. So I bring that up because these two laws, rules, principles are throughout many different industries and areas in the world. And you can apply them to finance, and you can apply them to crypto. And when I'm showing you this, remember on my channel, in that video, I showed you a chart of where the bulk of all the money in crypto is at. Of this market cap, more than 90 some odd percent of it is in the top 20 tokens. And I think like, let me rewind that. 92%, I believe, is in the top. Let me pull it up and see. Here we go. This is easier to see. So in the top 10, 88% of the market cap is there. In the top 20, 92%. So I bring that up because going with this strategy that he's mentioning, I didn't want to go too far out on the risk curve into like YOLO Degen territory with tokens that aren't going to pump. You might as well just play the meme token roulette. So if the bulk of the money is going to flow into those top 20, yes, there will be some gains and some pops in those that are below that, but going far outside of that is just nonsense. And that's also what he mentioned as well. So I think he looked at like the top 200. So there's still very large market cap tokens. And as the market cap grows this year, some of that will trickle downstream to some of those smaller positions, right? So anyway, basically I took this list and I made my own list that I came up with here. Some of those were for him. And like I said, some of them also were ones that I remember that Coinbase was giving away for free just for reading or doing some videos or answering questions. I can't remember the details, but I remember you got like some dust of each of these. I remember AMP specifically. I remember the graph and Aptos and HBAR. And also, I showed you guys, this is off of Raoul Pal. If you want to do some charting, you can actually look to see if in the recent month, basically when this bull run kicked off and Bitcoin ripped about 40%, how are your tokens performing against it? Are they outperforming Bitcoin? If they are, and they're on that list, then that is a very good potential opportunity. Now, that doesn't mean there's a lot more upside coming. That just means that there's opportunity there. So coming over here, taking that list that I made here, and then going off the ones I remember, making sure that Coinbase has them, looking at the low unit value, such as this, trying to find things that are like, less than $100 basically, which all these are in that range, and looking at how much of the potential to all-time high they have. That's how I started my thesis for picking tokens off of that top 100. So like I said, it's about 80% of what Virtual Bacon had, and then my own kind of Degen familiarity, how I came in, blah, 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 blah. And then I wanted to make sure that they stayed within the top 200. So I went a little further with Dogelon, Balancer, and Clover initially. And these were in the top 200, 300, 400. It just depends on the listing site. And then I took those off. So after I had this, I went actually over to ChatGPT and put in the video script as well as this technical analysis GPT that I had created a while ago. Actually, I got it from somebody else. And I wanted it to just run analysis on those tokens and give them weighting based off of the information that was there. And then from that, I wanted to take that information, take the weighting, take the kind of historical summary, what the narratives are that are trending in the current news, all that stuff, and then create like a portfolio allocation. So I just went back and forth with ChatGPT to try to come up with something based off, again, I did my own research and came up with these 30 on my own. And then I wanted to have an unbiased rationale to pick from these top 30 to pick just 10, and then a way to weight that portfolio that wasn't just me kind of in an echo chamber. So that's why I went to ChatGPT. Like I wouldn't use that for like your guru by any means, but once you've done your own research and you have your portfolio, however you decide to do that, it is just a good way to back and forth, get some information and walk that down. So here's my thesis that I came up with. There's actually 11 tokens in it. So this is what I went with: Gala, GRT, Mana, Sand, Algo, Metis, IMX, Polkadot, HBAR, AVAX. And then this was a YOLO Degen play, even though it's still in the top 100. I went into this after the fact, but what this basically boils down to, that the average percent to all-time high is 1900% off of my $1,500 investment. If that average played out, I don't think it will by no means, it could make $28,000. That's insane, right? There's no reason to do anything else with shit token community projects and chasing memes. These are all in the top 200, and for the most part, I think they were all in the top 100. I don't have that up. I thought I did, but that doesn't say they're going to catch a pump. It's just saying that your odds are better. And even if they get 50% of that average, I still get a 10x from the 1,500 I invest. 1,500 turns almost into 14,000, 15,000. And what I've already done is I've purchased these over on Binance. That's the exchange I use out here. But what I've done also is come over here and create this virtual bake-in portfolio with the same weighted allocation. So you can see the cost basis is almost exactly 1,500. And already as of today, it's up 72%. The other portfolio I made off of Raoul Pal is down 1.32%. Now remember, in Virtual Bacon's analysis, he said you can expect to see swings depending on how degenerate you are all the way up to like 32%. So this is by no means a get in today, get out tomorrow. You're gonna have to weather the storm. And that's why this portfolio that I just created, the Virtual Bacon Degen, is a much smaller amount than what I have in my long-term one, I guess the one that I've been holding from the previous cycle. This I just created literally within like a few hours based off of watching this video. And it just made sense to me. I was like, I understand this money flow chart. I didn't understand it last cycle. I see it happening right now before my eyes. I told you guys about Cardano on my channel just about a month ago, and that was still early, still a great opportunity, but it's already 3x from there. Now, that's not to say it can't do another 3x, which is what I'm expecting for it to go back to $3. But the thesis for all of this, the 80-20 rule, the Price's Law, the Raoul Pal 10% don't fuck this up, the focusing on the top 100, all of these tie together. Virtual Bacon's portfolio strategy is literally all the same thing. It's basically just saying, focus on the top 100, top 200, do your research on what you think. Use this live coin watch if you're looking for, as Raoul will call, dino tokens, because they have staying potential, especially this initial pump happening right now. The people that have been in for the last year or two or three previous cycles, they are playing the game very differently. But retail comes in exactly as how he mentioned it in here with his criteria and checklists. They will come in through Coinbase, Robinhood, Kraken, Crypto.com, and they will be looking at whatever is on that homepage, and they may be following a particular narrative, depends on how that platform lays it out. And they will be looking for the low unit price and kind of what's trending on those apps. And that's exactly, again, I can't stress that enough, of what I did when I introduced friends and family into crypto. That's what they did as well. Because what you're doing is you're getting into this thing you're not familiar with, and you're like, all right, I'll throw $100 onto this platform and then just buy a couple things and see what happens. Well, depending on where you got in the cycle, a lot of nothing might happen, or you lost it all, or you just completely forgot about it. So they're going to come in the same way and do the same thing, because Bitcoin hit all-time highs, might even be $100,000 before the end of this year. And those are huge talking points for people. And it's much more regulated. There's more transparency within the crypto space as a whole. The Trump narrative, all this stuff is happening. So you have to just put yourself in the shoes of a normie investor and look at how are they going to come into the space. Now, I live out here in Cambodia, so I believe there's a little more upside potential on some of these tokens due to what OKX and Binance are doing on a global scale, but it still doesn't mean go out of the risk curve, out of the top, I would say, again, top 200 if you want to be a degen. If you're going to do it, then you can go with something small, a small percentage of your portfolio to go into there. And the last bit of information that I have, or what I did with this, is, I think it shows up here, is I looked at basically price targets, and I already put sell orders on the exchange for getting my initial out and then taking out profits on the way up. So this way I'm not sitting there left holding the bag or trying to time the top of the market, because that's impossible. I already allocated the 1,500 and I know what it could do. And then I also have like, a minimum of like a 2x is what I want. I want to get my initial out and then that's it, right? So let the rest ride and take profits on the way up and not be left holding the bag. So that's the main thing. And that only works if you're on an exchange, which is what this whole thesis is about. Why he says don't use like decentralized exchanges, because people that get in are going to want to get in, buy their tokens on that exchange and sell them. They're not going through all the hoops of bridging and all this other stuff like that. They don't understand self-custody, not your keys, not your crypto. They understand banks and centralized exchanges and the ease of them shouldering the burden of validation, security, autonomy, and all that stuff. So regardless of what your feelings are about it, the billion some odd investors will think differently, because that is step one, getting off of zero. So as we go forward and I make videos on this channel, we will come back and evaluate these two portfolios and see how they perform. And I'll show you again, of course, as I'm taking profits, but I won't be adding anything to this one. This is a one-time allocation with different weightings on the different amounts of the tokens that I got in. And I do have another dollar cost average that I'm just doing every month at different intervals that goes into Bitcoin, Solana, and SUI and USDC. So still want to have some dry powder on the sidelines and not have everything tied up, because there will be dips along the way and other narratives that pop off. So I want to make sure that I can capitalize on those. But hopefully this gives you a overview and understanding of kind of what lessons I learned from the last cycle and how I'm playing this going forward. And again, avoiding the cults, because that is the quickest way to get wrecked. And that is not going to be where the initial wave of capital comes in. So hope that made some sense. Hope you can use some of this to your own advantage and make your own strategy and walk away with some crypto gains this cycle. All right, smash that HBO special, help a brother out, like, subscribe, comment down below. And until next time, lift daily and achieve your impossible. See ya. Want to pay your in real life bills with crypto? How about send crypto directly to anyone with a bank account? Spritz Finance is a decentralized solution to be your own bank and connect your crypto earnings to real world bills and payments. They do not take custody of your assets and allow support on multiple blockchains and Web3 wallets. Sign up below using my referral link and you will get $50 back when you make your first $50 bill payment with crypto. Additionally, I will be using referral bonuses to airdrop, donate, or burn based on community feedback. Sign up now.